The deportations began early this morning. More than 130 migrants escorted to this Greek port and out of Europe. Riot police were deployed, but those leaving today didn't put up a protest. Most of those returned to Turkey under the new deal were from Pakistan, but there were also 2 Syrians on board these ferries who didn't apply for asylum. This whole process is controversial. These activists have spent months helping migrants and refugees who've risked their lives to reach Europe. They argue they should be allowed to stay. This, though, is the new EU response in action. Each returnee was escorted back onto Turkish soil by a police officer. Under the deal, migrants arriving illegally in Greece will be returned to Turkey if they don't request asylum or if their claim fails. For each Syrian migrant returned to Turkey, the EU is due to take in another Syrian who's made a legitimate request there. Turkey won financial and political concessions as part of the agreement. Today, a group of Syrians were flown to Germany from Turkey. They're said to be the first relocations under this new deal. As part of that, every migrant arriving here is now detained. The camps are already overcrowded. People here are very worried about their future. And there is concern that Greece doesn't have the capacity yet to process all the asylum claims. EU support so far has been limited.
Well, look, the EU-Turkey deal is based on 2 false notions, right? On the one hand, Greece is supposed to be able to deal with all these cases individually and process them properly. Not the case right now. And secondly, that Turkey is a safe country for return for these refugees. It's also something we documented is absolutely not correct right now.
And despite everything, the migrants keep coming. The Turkish Coast Guard stopped some today, but others did make it through. The EU argues this is all about ensuring safe alternatives for those who need asylum. But it is also clearly about limiting numbers. What happened in the port here today was something of a symbolic start to this process. The EU keen to prove that new rules are in place and that its agreement with Turkey can work. But those who were sent back to Turkey today were economic migrants. The real test for the system will come when those who've applied for asylum in Europe and been rejected begin to be deported. Sarah Rainsford, BBC News on Lesbos.